This is ShadowQuant, Crypto Edition, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Monday, April 20, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just broke below $75,000 for the first time in 2 weeks, hitting $75,261 as of 9/16 ET. Ethereum also struggles, down 0.7% to $2,319.76. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14 extreme fear, up 12 points over 7 days. Meanwhile, BNB is up 0.32% at $626.18, showing some resilience in a broader sell-off. Let's start with the scores. Pulse, your call was bearish on Bitcoin with a target of $73,000. The actual price was $75,261, so that was wrong. Grid, you called bearish on Bitcoin with a target of $73,500, also wrong. CIPHER, you had a target of $73,500 as well, also wrong. SPECTER, your call was bearish on Bitcoin with a target of $73,000, wrong. Apex, you had a target of $73,500, also wrong. I'll admit it, I was wrong. The market didn't fall, it held. I need to revise my approach. The fear sentiment is rising, but the price isn't following. I've been too focused on sentiment and not enough on price action. I'll be looking closer at support levels this time.
I was also off. I focused too much on the Fear and Greed Index and not enough on the technicals. Bitcoin is testing key levels and the market is more sensitive to that than the Fear Index suggests. I'll be adjusting to look more at price patterns and volume.
I agree, I missed the fact that the flows weren't as bearish as the sentiment suggested. The data shows capital is rotating into stable coins and utility tokens, not just pulling out of crypto. I need to be more precise with my flow analysis.
I was wrong, but I was also challenging the others. The VIX is low, but the market is still under pressure. I need to focus more on the divergence between sentiment and price.
I was off, but I need to be more careful about what I'm connecting. I saw the fear and the price action, but I didn't fully reconcile them. I'll be focusing on the interplay between sentiment and technicals more carefully.
The crypto market is under pressure as macro risks escalate. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14 extreme fear, up 12 points in 7 days. Bitcoin and Ethereum are down 0.61% and 0.7% respectively. BNB is up 0.32%, showing some resilience. The VIX is at 17.48, below its 5-day average of 19.23, a sign of low volatility.
The low volatility is a red flag. The market is complacent, and that's dangerous. We're seeing a divergence between fear sentiment and price action, which is unusual.
I agree the fear is rising, but the price isn't falling as much as expected. It's a sign that retail investors are still cautious, but not panicked.
The flow data shows that capital is rotating towards stable coins and utility tokens. BNB and Dogecoin are holding up better than the broader market. That's a shift in positioning that's worth monitoring.
Let's talk about Bitcoin. It's at $75,261, down 0.61% on the day.
The $75,000 level is key. If Bitcoin breaks below that, it could test $74,000. The 7-day Fear and Greed rise of 12 points suggests that the market is still cautious, but the price is holding.
The flow data shows that there's still some institutional interest, but it's waning. Bitcoin futures demand is at 2024 lows, which suggests that big players are pulling back. However, the BNB up 0.32% is a sign that capital is rotating into altcoins. That's a shift in positioning.
I see a divergence. Fear is up, but the price isn't falling as much as expected. That suggests that the market is still holding in the face of macro uncertainty. But I'm not convinced The VIX is too low. If macro risks escalate, the market could still break down.
The sentiment is still bearish, but the price isn't reflecting it fully. Retail investors are cautious, but not selling en masse. That's why we're seeing a consolidation phase. Let's move to Ethereum. It's at $2,319.76, down 0.7%.
Ethereum is struggling near $2,320, a key psychological level. If it breaks below that, it could test $2,250. The technicals are weak, but the sentiment isn't as bearish as the price suggests.
The flow data shows that Ethereum is underperforming compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is at 57.49%, which means that capital is still flowing into Bitcoin over altcoins. That's a sign of a broader risk-off sentiment.
The problem here is that Ethereum is being left behind. The price is down, but the sentiment isn't as bearish as the technicals suggest. That's a contradiction. If the market starts to rotate further, Ethereum could see more pressure.
The sentiment is still cautious, but the price isn't as weak as expected. That's a sign that the market is in a holding pattern. Retail investors are not selling aggressively, which is why the price is holding. Let's talk about BNB. It's up 0.32% at $626.18.
BNB is outperforming the broader market. The 0.32% gain suggests that capital is rotating into altcoins. The $625 level is a key support, and if it holds, BNB could test $630.
The flow data shows that BNB is benefiting from the rotation into utility tokens. That's a positive sign. The price is holding, and the flows are supporting it. That's a good sign for BNB.
I'm cautious. The rotation into BNB is real, but it's still a small part of the market. If the broader market turns down, BNB could be affected as well. The volatility is low, but that doesn't mean the risk is gone.
The sentiment is more positive for BNB, but it's still a small part of the market. The price is holding, but that's not the same as a bullish trend. It's more of a consolidation phase. Let's move to APT. It's down 2.16% at $0.93.
APT is underperforming on technical weakness. The price is below key levels and the volume is low. That's a sign of a weak technical setup. If it breaks below $0.90, it could test $0.85.
The flow data shows that APT is being sold off, but the volume isn't as high as expected. That suggests that the selling is not aggressive. However, the technicals are weak, so the price could still move lower.
APT is a bubble in my view. The price is down and the technicals are weak. If the market turns down further, APT could see a significant correction. The weakness is there and the price is showing it.
The sentiment is still bearish for APT, but the price isn't as weak as the technicals suggest. That's a contradiction. It's a sign that the market is still cautious, but not panicking. SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on APT. Let's dig into that.
I think grid is underestimating the weakness in APT. The price is down 2.16% and the technicals are weak. The volume is low, but that doesn't mean the price won't continue to fall. If the market turns down, APT could see a significant correction.
I agree that the technicals are weak, but the flow data shows that the selling isn't as aggressive as the price suggests. The price is down, but the volume isn't as high as expected. That suggests that the selling isn't as strong as the price indicates.
I think the market is still cautious, but not panicked. The sentiment is bearish, but the price isn't as weak as the technicals suggest. That's a contradiction. My 24-hour call. Bitcoin bearish. Target $74,500 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $74,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $74,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $74,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $74,000 by next session.
The market is still under pressure, but not in a panic. The consensus is bearish, but the price isn't falling as fast as expected. The key levels to watch are $75,000 for Bitcoin and $2,320 for Ethereum. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Crypto Edition. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.